Chinese company. Just like in Thailand, in Vietnam, it's the same. Okay. Talk about the what is called the solo plate. Okay, you know the Chinese are very good in solo plate, and about 80% of the market controlled by Chinese company. The United States is one of the major market in terms of solo plate, and of course, the United States sanctioned against Chinese company. So China went to Vietnam, Thailand, and Malaysia. Because these three countries, solar plate exporting to the United States will not deal with the high tariff. Okay, but last year, okay, Biden government posed a sanction against products made by Vietnam, Thailand, and Malaysia, solar plates, because they realized most of them are actually by Chinese company. Okay. So they relocated their production from Vietnam to Laos and Indonesia. Just this past couple of months. Okay. So they will always relocate their location. Not all of the solar companies in Vietnam relocated to Indonesia or Laos, because still there's other markets. Okay, markets in Southeast Asia, market in Africa, and market in Europe. Okay. But in order for the U.S. market, some of the company relocate part of its production line and factory, sometimes the whole factory, to those countries or places that the United States do not have a sanction or tariff yet. Okay. So when you look at this, then you realize that actually this is a process of what we call the redistribution. It's good. I mean, from the Vietnam point of view, from Thailand point of view, we also joined the supply chains of solar plate. And in the process that we earn money, we able to get the new job, and most of all, some technology learned. Okay. And some local company established their own brands. Okay. Not controlled by Chinese, even though it's not that compatible, I mean, like those Chinese brands for world market. But for local market, they gradually share some part of the market share by those local company. It's a process. It's very natural, not just the solar plate, other products as well, unless it's very, very, very technology, high technology oriented, like semiconductor, things like that. Otherwise, it's a very natural process. Why country want to open the market for foreign investment here? Because you can invite more investment, FDI, and then create more jobs, and then most important of all, the new technology will learned by local companies. So this is actually a process of what we call the redistribution. Okay. And later, maybe the Chinese company will probably find it not that profitable in terms of making solar plates, and they were going to replace by Vietnamese or Thailand company. So that was the process. In the past, Taiwan as well. For instance, like when I was young, sneakers, textile, bicycles, they're all made in Taiwan. Very famous brand. Even tennis rackets. Okay. But now, none of them made in Taiwan. Sneaker, maybe some design sneaker. Okay. But Taiwanese company, still number one, number two, making all kinds of Nike, Adidas, or you can imagine, well, the company called Baocheng. But the factories around the world used to be in Southeast Asia, now most of them in India and Africa. Okay, but still holding by the Taiwanese company called Baocheng. Okay, but they don't make it in Taiwan because it's too expensive. Okay, the cost. So it's a very natural process. So when United States argued that wanted to have this kind of production line come back to the United States, it's very difficult. Can Taiwan, to ask those shoes company, you have to make shoes in Taiwan. We'll say, oh my God, how much it gonna be? Is that right? So when Donald Trump saying that he gonna ask major production line come back to the United States, don't get me wrong, I believe that he can do that, but only by government subsidies, big government subsidies, okay, to help them to relocate those factories in Arizona, Wisconsin, okay, and then to oppress the price by supporting them with all kinds of benefits. Okay, but that's only for a short period of time. What about after that? What about after that? For instance, like TSMC was given how much? 5.5 billion US dollars. Not received yet. But the government promised 5.5 US dollars. They already committed 3 factories in Arizona. The first one is building right now. However, what if Donald Trump say, I'm not going to give you this money? Then the 3 factories will probably have to relocate 2 of them back to Taiwan or to Japan or to Germany. Okay, there's no way that TSMC will spend that kind of money and without subsidies from the U.S. government, and not to mention that the products made in the United States are unstable because of the workers are not skillful, and also the market is not stable. Okay, so it's very natural for Morris Chang, the founder of TSMC, commented that globalization is dead. I mean, for TSMC, there's no such thing of globalization. There's only one thing, the US government's order. Because it's the target of US sanction against China, right? TSMC's chips made by TSMC. Okay. And no other company can reproduce, can make the same thing. Okay. That's a good part of TSMC. Okay. So, but when you look at the board of the directors of TSMC, only 3 people from the company, the rest of them all foreigners, most of them American. Okay. So this company actually is already almost like an American company. Okay. So this is because of a U.S. sanction against China, it's regarded as a matter of national security and survival. Okay. So it's not going to be stopped. I mean, for the Trump second term. Okay. Any comments?
I have a question.
Sure.
Rather than a comment. In Turkey, after 20 years, normally you have to stop being a president. Is there something like this in America? Like, when is the limit for Trump to become a president? Like, after what year?
The U.S. Constitution revised in 1961, make it clear that everyone can be president for 8 years.
8 years. So
Altogether.
this will be Trump's last year, if
The last term.
Okay.
The last term. And there's no way for he to rerun.
Like even after 4 years, it's impossible. Even if he got 99, he can't
Only,
be.
you're already 4 years, now plus another 4, so 8 years.
Because what happened in Turkey is we were 20 years limit, and then the party in the
Revised
regulating,
constitution,
they
yeah,
revised
just
and-
like Russia, yeah.
yeah,
Just
now
like
they're there for a whole decade.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
it's just like Russia, then, but in another way, because when you look back, I'm not saying this is the right thing to do, you know, which I personally disagree with this kind of distorted the rule of law and the Constitution in order to maintain in power. But for the benefit of the society, I'm not sure about this. I mean, look at the United States now. Okay, I'm kind of disappointed about this direct presidential election. I'm more in favor of a cabinet system. Okay, because direct presidential system means what? First of all, winners takes all. Not just all the votes, all the power. And most of them with not much of restrictions. I mean, the parliament or Congress cannot really, pose any kind of restrictions or check and balance against the power of the president. So, winner takes all mean what? Actually, we are selecting not just the president, we're selecting the king. He's a king. Okay. Well, she's a king. Okay. She's a queen. Yeah. Second of all, most of the time, this kind of a direct presidential election will easily form the society into two political parties. So the two political parties will compete against each other, not in terms of a policy debate or rational arguments of the future of our society or countries, or which value or law. That's BS. Okay. Most of the time, would mobilize supporters, identity, and hatred, a negative campaign against each other. So with this kind of process, hate speech, okay, and the negative campaign, and populism, and control of the media, anyone who became the president, can you imagine him or her to be a visionary leader of the country, okay? And to take care of everybody, for everybody's well-being, But everyone's inauguration speech is that I'm a humble person who very honored to take this position. I would do all my best to help my country to improve the living standard, blah, 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 blah. Now all of that BS. Is that right? And it's getting worse and worse. Look at the US presidential election. Who's Donald Trump? A bad guy. Who's Harris? Kamala Harris? Impotent guy.
Neutral, like not good, not bad. Even when Biden wasn't president, we didn't see nothing from Kamala Harris.
No, Kamala Harris, she doesn't even know anything. Okay? This is not about race, not about sex. This is just about herself. Okay? I admire Hillary Clinton. I like Hillary Clinton. Okay? I like Michelle Obama. I like Oprah. If Oprah run for president, I believe that she would be elected. Okay. And I admire so many women, but not Kamala. Okay. So this, and at the end of the day, is this two? Which one are you going to choose? And you know what? If it's like in Japan, I mean, Japan last, it's not personal, it's the election of the parliament, the turnout rate is only like 50%. So 50% of people is not interested. None of my business. Okay? But in the States, in this kind of a direct presidential elections, everybody mobilized, everybody have a mission. Oh, I cannot allow Donald Trump to be elected. The country will be ruined, okay? And the women will be tortured, and blah, 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 blah. I cannot allow camera to be elected, okay? The country will be distorted apart, you know? The country will be allowed those immigrants to occupy. So they all vote. And this kind of play again and again. I don't think that, oh, maybe in the future we're going to have a philosopher king, okay? A guy like Xi Jinping, or a guy like Lee Kuan-yew, and then a guy like what? Like Lincoln, okay? Or Obama. But what Obama did, he's just a good speecher. It's very charismatic.
He's handsome, that's it.
Yeah. But the problem is that maybe we need a system that we can deliver. Okay, I'm not talking about supporting any kind of undemocratic, but democracy actually have to adjust to different society, culture, and history. And it's time for United States to think twice about their own democratic system. Okay, first of all, their electoral system. Okay, this kind of about 400 some people get together every 4 years and to decide who's going to be the president and then disappear. This is crazy, right? Actually, without this kind of system, if it's a direct presidential election system in the States, like in Taiwan or some Central and South America, I mean, Democrats would be the president, I mean, probably more than Republican. Think about Al Gore or Hillary Clinton, okay? So, because minority are not longer minority, okay? Why only calculate a little bit close to 60% of the population of the United States? It was 70, and then 65, now 60, because the population changes because of immigrations and also the infant rates. So this is actually changing this whole society. It's changing the world, is that right? Whoever got elected as the president of the United States will have the major impact of the global economy and security and its relationship with your countries. So we should have a right to vote. Which one you prefer? No, I know, don't need that one. None of them are